Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome back. Welcome back to the PorscheCooled Podcast. Christmas show today. Steve's already here. I thought Christmas show, I'm not going to do an intro before Steve comes online. Hi, Steve.
Hi, mate. Ho, ho, ho.
So I'm gonna let you guys in on the secret. We're not actually sitting in our various houses, apartments around the world recording this for you on Christmas Day. We're actually pre-recording it like always. This is Wednesday, but it is going live on Christmas Day, so I hope you guys are listening to it. Steve and I hope that everyone is having a great Christmas. Don't we, Steve?
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas, Happy Holidays. If you're with your family, that's fantastic. I won't be. I'll be with my wife. That's my family, sorry, and my father-in-law. But that's about it. So it's a bit of a weird one this year, but it is what it is. People are having harder times.
Funny old year.
It is, mate. It is, mate. Look at London. We're in tier, I can't remember what tier it is anymore. Tier 4. Tier 4, I think it is.
Right.
So, but it's weird. London's weird. And I just woke up this morning and I just said that to you before that we always fly back to Sydney through Singapore, and Singapore's now banned people from the UK as well. So, which means any flights we do back to Australia will have to be on via Bahrain.
What is it? Direct flight? Oh, okay. You've got to go through.
Yeah, we always, because we fly Singapore Airlines, so we always transit through Singapore. I'm just turning my microphone up. I'm sorry if that was really low. For some reason, my input of my microphone was only a quarter. I don't know what's going on with this garage band lately. Okay, what are we talking about today, Steve? Oh, I just want to do the usual...
Christmas?
I just want to do the usual... Christmas, yeah. It's the Christmas show. It's the Christmas show. We had big things planned for today. We really did. We've been trying to do something really big for today.
And it's all gone down the toilet.
And it's kind of all gone down... Yeah, it's kind of all gone down the toilet. Okay. This week, no new Patreons this week. You know, if you become a PorscheCooled Exclusive member, I always give new PorscheCooled Exclusive members on Patreon a shout out on the podcast. That's one of the tiers, one of the benefits that you get from being PorscheCooled Exclusive member. I know it's not much,
worth its weight in gold. Yeah,
I know it's not much, but we have to do something. You know, I want to just do something for you guys when you support the podcast. And like I said, it does really help us, $5 a month. Haven't had any new members for a while, so it'd be good to get another new member to do a shout out to, Steve. But I really do appreciate everyone that's part of the Patreon membership. It's been great so far, and thank you for that. What else? I know you didn't watch it. You just told me then. During the week, I think it was... I hope my voice is okay today because it sounds really weird through my headphones, so I hope it's okay.
It's fine on this end.
It's fine?
Yep.
So I did a live Insta with Flat Cap Driver, the Flat Cap Driver. If you're not following Ajmal, who is the Flat Cap Driver, go over to his YouTube channel. Just search Flat Cap Driver. Some other funny weird channels come up when you do that, but you'll see his logo is like a black and white logo. Make sure you give him a follow on his YouTube, and also make sure you give him a follow on his Instagram. He's a really good guy. And he's got the 996, the cheapest 996 in the... It's not the world, actually, because James at Auto Amateur said he only paid $5,000 for his, but Ajmal's was actually working. So I think that's...
no.
I think that's a different... But it was the cheapest, but it was pretty much the cheapest one in the UK. Ajmal's got the 912 as well, which he's doing little jobs to it here and there, which is starting to look good. So we did a live Insta last Thursday. We had a few people. I don't think we had a lot. I think there was about, 15 at the most on the live Insta. I've only done a live Insta once before, Steve. I did it once with James at Auto Amateur. And
It's tricky to get people all around the world at the same time, though.
Yeah, you know the hardest thing with the Insta is that Ajmal couldn't see the comments coming through. I was trying to look at it on my other phone, on my other account, and then Instagram didn't like me and they blocked me out of that other account in the middle of the chat. And then I don't like the camera right on my face, so I've got the camera further away and I'm trying to read the comments. So if you watch that live Insta, it is on the PorscheCooled Instagram. If you go over to PorscheCooled, that's the Instagram account that we have. Give that a follow as well. But it is, if you just press the IGTV, the video button in the center, it is actually there. Excuse my weird faces and my close-ups. It's because I was trying to read the phone during the chat with Ajmal. So it's
I'll have to have a look. Sorry, I got busy, so I'll go and have a look.
But it was a good chat, and we enjoyed it. Ajmal said he's had some people comment him and say it was good to chat. I had a few people on it. Nick in the UK was on it. Nick is a guy that who I've actually recorded now a podcast with, an Owner's Stories podcast, Steve. Nick's got the white 912. He did so much research. It's a really good episode, and it's coming up in the next couple of weeks. He got so many photos, and he got the guy to do so many walk-arounds, and it looks like he's got and it was never advertised, this 912, this white 912. He bought it from the States. And I think he got a really good one, actually. So he's getting some work done on it at the moment at the same place where Ajmal's getting work done on it, at Jack's, a guy called Jack, who was also on the Instagram Live as well. He also joined. And then we had those other people that I sent you the link to, which was Export 56 in the UK.
Yep.
And I actually asked the guy on the thing, because I thought they were doing Magnus Walker's 65 or whatever his early 911, and because I read it somewhere, I don't know where I read it, whether it was on Magnus Walker's side or somewhere else, and he said yes, they are doing it. So I think they've got a really good business. That's Export 56, I think it's called on Instagram.
They mechanics or the whole thing, like dealers and mechanics?
They restore the cars. They restore
body shop.
Yeah,
so
restore. Well, I think they're everything. I'm not 100% sure. Okay. That's why I want to have a chat to them. So I've invited them. Cool. I have invited them to have a chat with me, which I think they're interested in. That's about it. Owner's Stories went up on Tuesday. Steve, you've already listened to it.
I have.
So that was David from Melbourne. David and it's a great story, actually. Listen to it. I know I always say it's a great story, but it's a great story because every time I do these, they're always, some people, like I said, some people are a bit hesitant thinking their story's not great, but it's a great story because it's about how you wait for so long for something that you really want. The passion is so strong, Steve, that you can wait, 20 odd years to get what you really want. You know what I mean? And then
I'm not patient enough.
No, you're not patient enough. But then, things get in the way. I found from talking to a lot of people, family, marriage, divorce, a lot of things get in the way. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And then people get it and they're so happy. You know what I mean? And they're so happy. And I think that's what's great about Owner Stories is that joy that is coming through the microphone. You're coming through your speakers when you're listening to the owners about talking about
the happiness and excitement definitely bubbled through.
Yeah, yeah. And he got a really good example as well, another 996 where he found a really nice example. I like his number plate, 156. I think it's a nice, good number plate, Victorian number plate that he's got. It's pretty cool. So that was good. That was that went live last Tuesday. So make sure you have a listen to that if you haven't heard it already. As you've heard me go on about on the beginning of every Owner Stories, they're coming. I'm recording them in advance. I did a few this week, I think 4 or 5, I can't remember, 4 I think. So they're going to come all the way through. Someone else asked me, are we going to cut out the Owner Stories? Is that what I was meaning to say? We're going to cut out the Owner Stories because I'm only recording them up until January. We're not cutting them out. I'm just recording them in advance so that I can there's going to be a lot of stuff going on for me, so that's why I'm just recording them now. What else, mate? Give me something.
Give you something.
What's been going
Christmas
on?
present.
What's been going on?
Yeah, Sydney's been in a little bit of a funny sort of COVID state too, little mini outbreak, but it's nothing compared to like cities like London around the world. So bit of a funny vibe here too. I think some families won't be able to kind of get together because there's a certain part of Sydney that's been kind of isolated and locked down.
Yeah, which is Palm Beach, right? Or North Shore.
Yeah, Northern Beaches.
And Palm Beach, for those of you who don't know, is a really nice spot. There's other spots that have all been locked down, I think, but Palm Beach is one of them, which is where people go during Christmas. A lot of celebrities go there during Christmas, actually. A lot of celebrities go from, the US and go back to there, but I'm guessing they're not going to be doing that.
Yeah, my cousin's up there.
Oh, really?
My uncle, the uncle who I refer to a lot, car crazy uncle, his son is up that way, so unfortunately they're isolated for this Christmas, which is a bit of a shame.
So they're not releasing it. I read something today on the Sydney newspaper, or late last night, or first thing this morning. Maybe it's first thing this morning when I woke up. That they're going to remove it for half of the North Shore and not the other half?
Yeah, the lower part of it, which is sort of on the skirts of it, has a bit more freedom, but the other part, everybody on the northern beaches can't leave. The lower part, you can take visitors, which I don't actually still quite understand. I haven't read enough about all of this yet. They're allowing visitors to go and visit some of those, the southern part, but the other part is pretty much restricted to mingling amongst themselves, and I think only having 5 kind of guests.
Yeah, it's all a bit confusing, isn't it? These rules, I find London a bit like that as well. I find it confusing. Like, what can you do and what you can't do? I don't know. I mean, I read it and it seems to make sense, and then it's like, I don't know what's going on. I think the worst part about it is when you live in an apartment building, like the apartment building here that we're in.
Yeah.
You know, there's only one person in the lift at a time. That's the rule.
Oh, that's tough.
Like, if you go at the wrong time, you have to really time it because, you know, there's a lot of, I guess there's 400 odd people in this building. It's a 45-floor building. You know, it really makes it very slow to go and do anything. Yeah. And then you've got the thing with your parcels. You know, we buy, I hate to say it, we buy a reasonable amount of stuff, a lot of stuff online. Yeah. And, you know, usually they're dropped off at the concierge and you go and pick it up, you get a notification. Now the delivery guy just like, sometimes he buzzes you, sometimes he doesn't. And then most of the times they just leave it at your door. So if you're not here, you know, the parcel can go missing. Tasha's already had 1 or 2 parcels go missing. So it's just like, I don't know, it's just, you know, it's just a minor thing, I guess, but COVID is just wrecking everything. It's destroying our routine. I think that's the worst part about it. Everyone's had a routine and everyone's routine has been messed up, right?
Yeah, this Christmas is going to be a funny one, I think, for many people. I mean, I must say though, like, I suspect that pretty much everyone in Australia is in a much more fortunate position than most people. So we have a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah. My brother goes over to my other brother's place because they live reasonably close to each other, but I think he's not going to do it. He's just going to stay at home by himself, which is a bit depressing for me being away that he's just sitting there by himself. But I don't know. He just thinks it's just too risky. You know?
Yeah, look, I know a lot of people that feel the sort of same way. So,
and especially my nieces are both school teachers, so you know it kind of makes it like he's even more like worried about them having something. Did you go and get? So, what about your uncle? Did your uncle get his car detailed and paint corrected?
Yeah. So, I can't remember if I mentioned it last week, but he bought his new to him 991.2 in midnight blue, Carrera S. Looks like a nice car. I drove it and was quite impressed. So he basically, I think one of my other cousins basically may have talked him into it, but he made the call to go and have it paint corrected and a ceramic coating done professionally. So he dropped it in earlier in the week. And because of this sort of COVID thing, I just sort of said to him, you know, like if you want to lift instead of having to catch a cab to go and pick it back up because my aunt doesn't drive anymore, you know, I'll come and pick you up and I'll go and drive him there and go and have a chat to it. And my uncle obviously took the opportunity to try to upsell me on the whole thing. And so I said, why don't you get Elias to kind of have a look at your car and, you know, give you a quote and just sort of have a look at your car as well. So we went and picked it up this afternoon, literally a couple of hours ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did it look?
So I'll probably wind up rambling a little bit, but look, I always expected it to be good. The interesting thing was that I said to my uncle, so can you pick the difference? Because, like, of course, like it's a nearly new car, and if you give it to somebody to kind of go and clean and detail, then it's going to come back looking pretty schmicko. But, you know, like, can you tell the difference between like a full kind of detail plus ceramic coat? And the interesting thing was that he said, maybe he's getting old, but he sort of said to me, I can't actually see the swirl marks to begin with. I was like,
Did you see the swirl marks? Had you seen them?
I didn't see the car. Well, I didn't pay enough attention to check the before to kind of compare it to the after.
Right. So did they say the process that they did? Do you know what process they did there?
Yeah, they basically, my uncle was adamant that he really didn't want them to kind of get too aggressive with the abrasive part of it. So they basically clean up all the wax and everything off the car. Then they machine polish it, using pads and whatever. I'm not sure exactly which product this guy uses, but that's the bit where you're basically kind of taking clear coat off the top of your paint, and that's where all the a lot of the swirl marks kind of exist.
Right.
So that's what's termed the physical kind of paint correction, trying to get all the kind of swirl marks and the what do they call them? I can't remember. There's a specific sort of name for it. So you're removing all of that sort of stuff and all of the kind of contaminants and stuff like that. Yeah. Once you've kind of got like your car, like, in what should be better than factory kind of condition from a paint correction point of view, then they put the ceramic coat on top.
Okay.
Which is, just, like basically sort of like a glass coating, which is supposed to be super hard. And in the instance of my uncle, was supposed to last about 6 years.
6 years. So this is the
correct kind of
Guion or Eon, however you pronounce it. The same.
I thought it was going to be Guion, but he actually used something else. I can't remember the name of the product. System X, something like that. Okay. He's a Guion guy, but he sort of said that for whatever reason he used Guion. Anyway. So look, it's just really hard to tell. Like, like the car looked amazing, but it was in good condition beforehand. I must admit, like, I could sort of see little bits and pieces here and there, but like, who really kind of walks up to a car and scrutinizes it that hard? So,
but when you pick it up, this is the thing.
Yes.
When you pick it up from these guys, and I'm thinking about, because I just watched that Larry Emmo New York City video last night where he had Casilla, where he picked up some old car from Brooklyn, some old American car. I can't remember the name.
Right.
But I just think about where he does his cars. When you go and pick it up, is it under strong lights so you can actually see it? Do they leave it in that situ? Yeah.
Well, so when we got there, we arrived at about 2:30 in Lane Cove.
Yeah.
And the car was actually parked outside because it also needs to cure, and I think he had other cars that he was working on because he actually finished it yesterday.
Right.
So because he'd left it outside, it had already gotten like a little bit dusty as well.
Oh, really?
And it was sitting in the shade, but he sort of said, look, we'll move it into the sunlight so you can sort of see like the harder light enables you to kind of see more of the detail in it.
But you pick your car up and it's already got dust on it? Like, that's not good.
Yeah.
You think they put a cover over it or something?
No, well, I think also because it's got a cure, like I don't think you really want to, like, for example, he said don't wash it, for a week, like just let it cure properly. Yeah,
because that's the brand I put on my wheels, that finish, that, what was it called? Guion, whatever
System
it is.
X.
No, not System X,
Guion?
the Guion is what I put on my wheels.
I think I did too.
And that was the same thing. It said you should let it sit for 24 hours and you shouldn't wash the car and you shouldn't drive in the rain. It said you could drive the car after 24 hours, but it said you shouldn't drive in water or puddles or anything. But that stuff, I don't know. How long has that been since I did that? 18 months ago? Probably no longer. Yeah. 2 years? Over longer 2 years ago?
That. Yeah, longer.
Longer, 3 years. And it's still very easy to clean my wheels. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely the best thing to do that on your wheels. And do it before you put your wheels on the car. And really?
Yeah. I don't know what conversation they had beforehand, but because I just sort of thought like that's probably one of the main bits that I'd want done. And my uncle's got mesh style sort of BBS motorsporty style wheels, the really
hard
intricate sort of ones. Yeah, so that's the first thing I would have done.
Wow. And you don't have to give away the price, but was it a lot to get this done?
I think it was. Because I've never really looked into it that hard. I've only got what my uncle sort of said to me. He said that it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't like you kind of get what you pay for sort of thing. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not shitting on Elias's work. It's just interesting because I think, from my perspective as an outsider, just kind of being quite interested in how it all works and the sort of value proposition, it's sort of like I always expected that you walk in there and the car would look amazing, which it did. But I would have thought that it's really hard to tell until you've kind of lived with it for quite a few months because it's partially the durability part of it.
Yeah.
Not you're always going to expect it to kind of look, super glossy and super shiny kind of thing.
Yeah, I would probably if I bought a car that was 2017 model, right?
Yeah.
Around about 3 years old. 2016. I personally, what I would do is I would keep it. I would detail it myself, so I get to know where the issues are, and then I can see the swirl marks if there are, and then assess whether I need to get ceramic coating done. I think that's what I would do. I guess if the car's older, and I see these videos when I'm watching them recently, not Porsches actually, I was watching one on a Ferrari, on a 328 GTS Ferrari, where they were detailing it. And the swirl marks on the red paint was terrible. You know what I mean? But that's a 40-year-old, 35-year-old car. And obviously that you need to do, but then you got to be careful. Like you said, you don't want to go too much, so you really have to have the right detailer so you don't take up too much of the coat, too much of the paint. So it's a balancing act, isn't it? But once they did it, once this car was done, and it's a pretty amazing video actually. The car was amazing, absolutely amazing. But beforehand, the paint was so bad, and red paint I think shows up the swirl marks even worse than other colors as well when you see it. Yeah, probably.
Up. Well, so spin that a little bit to me, because like I said, my uncle was trying to a degree. He's always very enthusiastic. He's no harm intended, but he always kind of goes, "Oh, why don't you do it? Why don't you get Elias to kind of have a look at it for you?" Blah blah blah. So I did. I sort of said, well, my uncle sort of said, "Hey, can you go and look at Steve's car and give us your opinion of what would be required?" Well, it's not actually like I said to you. By comparison, my mate who bought the other GT3 like mine, I reckon his paint is in much better condition than mine. Or by comparison, your paint's heaps better than mine, because my car was tracked, so it's got lots of chips and all that sort of stuff, and I know that I've probably kind of put quite a bit of the swirl marks in there because I, like to, wash and wax quite a bit.
3 times a week.
Yeah. Well, mate.
Steve's car is always a competition a silent competition between Steve and I to see whose car looks the shiniest after we've washed it.
Because I hate it when it's dusty and all that. Anyway, so Elias had a quick squiz at the car and he just sort of said, "Oh yeah," he had to get his little torch out and have a look, and he said, "Yeah, I can see all the kind of swirl marks. But because my car's white, part of it for me is well, you really have to look quite hard on a white car to kind of pick up those sort of swirl marks. It doesn't show up like on a midnight blue, car or a black one."
Yeah, exactly.
And it was just interesting because I thought that he would kind of break it down and sort of pull it apart and sort of say, it needs this, that, and everything else. But I think in summary, when I sort of said, what do you reckon, on a white car? It sort of depends on how fussy you want to be. And he said, "So that's it. You're exactly right. It depends." Like he said, if you said to me that you wanted to kind of remove all of the swirl marks, and I actually have to get quite aggressive and abrasive with it, and I can go and do that, no problem. That's what I do. But to be honest, you've got to look pretty hard to kind of find those swirl marks to begin with. So if I was you and this was my car, and he just wanted to know how I drove it, which is not on the track and more like a
fast.
Once a week type thing.
Did you say I drive it fast?
I did not say that I drive it fast. I drive like Nana. But he sort of said, "Yeah, okay, well then," he said, "I'd kind of do something similar to what, I just did to your uncle's, which is, about 10 hours worth of paint correction and then putting the coating on top."
10 hours? How much is the hourly rate? 10 hours at 150? It's expensive.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, well, so I don't know, in a nutshell, not that I was actually kind of seriously kind of considering it. I was probably, curious, and, if my uncle's experience was kind of amazing, then I'd go, "Oh yeah, maybe it's worth it." But I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure if the value is there, and if I reckon I'm fussy, but I just don't think.
You're happy with the result you can get yourself. It's almost like that, isn't it? It's that line. It's you're pretty good at cleaning and detailing a car, and the result you get from it, to the normal eye, people will go, "Wow, this car's amazing." And do you want to go any further to pay that extra money? When you do it yourself, you enjoy doing it yourself, Even if
Exactly.
you got your buffer out and did a bit of a thing yourself, you could do that on certain areas that you thought needed extra attention.
Yeah,
right?
I know I could do, like, I could work on my car. I know enough about it to kind of do a better job than I normally do, but
Yeah.
maybe I'm getting older, just sort of lost a little bit of patience with that to a degree.
But like you said, your car looks amazing, and people would think it's been fully detailed by someone professional if they saw it. You know, this is the thing. It's like it's
Sort of.
standards.
Yeah, maybe.
Standards, right?
Yeah.
So your uncle's
Yeah.
car didn't have PPF. I asked you that last time. I can't remember what you said.
No, it didn't.
It's got no protection film on the front, on the bumper, or
Nope.
anything. And he's
Nope.
he doesn't want to put anything on after he's had it completely. He obviously didn't want to put it on because he would have put it on after the paint correction and then put the coating on top of the film, right?
Yeah, because otherwise he should have done the PPF and then had the ceramic coating done on top. Well, see, like Elias, so this is the business name is Detail Labs. Elias at Detail Labs in
Detail Labs.
Lane Cove.
Yeah, because people want to know that.
No, nice bloke. And I don't really. This is my first sort of chat with him, so I can't say whether he's good, bad, or otherwise. He does PPF as well, and he actually had a new Golf R under the lights in the actual kind of showroom, and he showed me the PPF job on the bonnet. He'd only done it on the on the bonnet itself,
Right.
but then he'd ceramic coated the rest of the car. So I kind of got to see like what really good PPF looks like, which because like I'd done that on the 993, which is
What PPF does he use there? Does he have the signs up? Does he use Expel or does
I
he
can't
use
remember.
Suntech?
I think it may have been Suntech. I don't think it was Expel.
Yeah, a lot of people in Australia seem to use Suntech, and I wonder if there's a reason behind that. Because I noticed the
Probably
other
just the
place
distribution or something.
Well, they're both available in Australia. I'm just wondering if it's to do with
Yeah.
the color of the film and the harsh sun in Australia, etc. If there's some kind of reasoning, because I know a lot of people in the UK use Expel, and the US I think they
Yeah.
use Expel. But I noticed
Expel
that.
a lot as well. Yeah.
But Suntech was the guy that you told me about. I noticed he used Suntech films as well. The one that
Okay.
you told me in Artarmon, that you said in Artarmon in Sydney was the place to
Aussie
go to.
Cozzy, Andrew. Yeah.
Aussie Cozzy.
Look,
Okay, so it's done. So he must be happy.
I must admit the PPF on that Golf was a vast improvement to like my experience of PPF, put it that way. So I can
Right.
see why people kind of do it.
Yeah,
But-
so it's much improved. Much improved.
Yep.
So I sent Steve an image from Instagram last week after we had the chat when we were talking about suspension, because there was this really cool photo of this white GT3 RS 991.1 GT3 RS, and it had all its new upgrades of suspension, and they're all laid out all pretty in this photo.
Oh, yeah.
And the
you're
KW.
right.
So I sent it to Steve to try and get him trying to get him inspired by get it in his head
Trying to bait me.
get it in his head that he needs to get KW. So what happened after that, Steve? You did check it out, right?
Yeah, after we were sort of chatting about it, I was just kind of curious. I'm not in any position. I don't need it. My car's fine.
How much
as
was
it is,
it?
blah, blah, blah.
How much was it?
It was a bit under 10K. I just looked it up online at the Sydney distributor. I think it was about 9 and a bit for KW three ways.
Yep.
And then if you want the integrated lift kit, I think you have to add another 4 to it or thereabouts.
So 14,000
So it ain't
Australian
cheap.
dollars. 14,000 Australian dollars, which is about what's that? 7,500, 8,000 pounds.
I'm assuming that's not installed as well. That's just the part because I just looked at the online shop.
Oh right. So then you've got to do the installation. They've got to do the installation as well. That'd be a few hours of installation, right?
A couple of hours plus you'd want a full alignment after that as well.
I wonder
Actually,
if it
that-
would be worth it, though. I wonder if it would be worth it. I mean, it looked really cool in
Oh,
that photo. I thought that photo
yeah.
was really cool. That guy had all these parts laid out that they're going to put in the car. But
I'm
don't
still
know.
pretty sure that like suspension technology would have moved on. So you definitely get an improvement, like up to the individual to kind of assess whether it's $14,000 worth of improvement or not. But I'd be pretty sure that it's going to be better than like if it was me, like it'd be better than my standard kind of suspension.
Right.
But one thing that we didn't mention when we were chatting about it last week was, I reckon one of the key things about suspension is you got to make sure that the person that actually does the install and the setup knows what they're doing. I don't think it's just about the actual parts. I actually have a feeling like a massive part of it is the setup.
right.
Like everybody on piston heads and 911.co.uk rave about, is it center gravity?
So
There's like specialists that kind of really know how to kind of set your suspension up properly, and I think you got to make sure that you're kind of using the right people to kind of do that.
right. Greg actually sent me a message through Instagram too. That Greg from First Flat 6, also go and check out Greg's Instagram, give him a follow if you're there. He does have the Ollins Road and Track. That's what he put onto his 996, onto his Speed Yellow 996.
Loves it, right?
Loves it, yeah. So that's what he invested in. I'm not sure how much that would cost, but KW is more expensive, right? Is it?
No, Ollins would be even more expensive than KWs.
Really? So it's a big investment.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big investment. Yeah. It makes me want to look at KWs now and see what KWs and look at Ollins Road and Track too. It makes me want to like do more research. Because like I said, that the Bilstein Pro Kit, whatever I was talking about last week, which I can't remember the name of, it was Pro Kit 12, is it? The Bilstein one.
I can't remember what you said, yeah.
Maybe I should look at the KW and look at the Ollins and see how much the cost is.
Get Sanch to get you a present, mate.
Yeah, it'd be a good present.
Have you got the hankering? Or?
It'd be a good present. I've got a hankering for everything at the moment. I've got to stop spending money. I keep buying things. I bought that. I told you I bought the... I've got to stop buying things that are very large as well, that are very difficult. I'm accumulating all this stuff. When we eventually move back to Australia...
You bought a sleigh?
No, I bought another book. It's like a sleigh, though. Yeah. It's enormous, the box that it comes in. It comes in this big pizza box, the Type 7 Volume 2 book.
Oh, okay.
Comes in this pizza box with Daniel Arsham, the guy that does the Porsche in the sort of stone, the one I saw at Selfridges in London, which was amazing, that car. The workable one. He does the box.
Turbo?
I think it was. He does the box, and the box is like a pizza box. So think of the size of a pizza box, and the book's inside. Luckily, the book's a bit smaller. But I keep buying. Tasha says you keep buying books that are big and heavy, and it's like, yeah, no, I got to stop. And I got the Christophorus magazine. You know, the Porsche one. The first one came. It came yesterday or the day before yesterday. Yep. I think you're right, mate. I think it's like it's not much in it. It seems to be. I don't know, I can just read it online. It doesn't seem that great.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have very great memories of it when I did get it. And if you ever kind of sit around a Porsche dealership and you pick one up...
it's very thin. Very thin.
Yeah.
I think a good present, and it's not a Porsche mag, and I might have bagged it a little bit before, but I've looked at the ones I've received. The Road Rat magazine is it's a nicely put together magazine, I have to say. You know, it's a huge magazine.
You didn't bag it at all.
Yeah, it's a big magazine. I didn't bag it. It's a big magazine. No. I think I said I would have preferred the 000 magazine. You know,
that's not bagging it. I'd prefer the 000 magazine too, but it's a shitload more expensive.
Yeah, I'm just not ready to pay that money at the moment, but I still want it. The 000.
Same.
And they had a sale on not long ago. Did you see that? I think it was on Black Friday.
The single issue ones.
Yeah, no, I should have bought some. I don't know why I didn't. I just didn't. I was caught up doing other stuff. But the Road Rat, I've looked at the 2 issues because I've got 2 of the 4. I had a subscription, and it's a recurring subscription with Road Rat. You have to be careful with that because it puts you on this recurring subscription.
Oh, okay.
But I cancelled it. But it is good just to get a broad overview, Steve, of just, cars and stuff. Like, and it's nice covers and... I think there's the models. I meant to tell you about that. There's the models, and I've seen them on Instagram, and it's like the one that's on the Road Rat cover, where they're sculpted. The guy on Instagram, this guy does these sculpted models of Porsche shapes. I think he does other cars as well, and you can buy them. Yep. They're like big paperweights, but they're a sculptured model. Have you seen those?
Is that a little bit like the Gunther work type things? Did you see that? But it's made out of, it's just like a sheet of carbon fiber that's sort of been molded into sort of like the silhouette of a car. Yeah,
that's right. And I looked at them, but they're a great Christmas present, even though it's Christmas Day today. Maybe a great New Year's Eve present. New Year's present. But they were expensive. I think they were $500 or $800 or something. I went to the website and looked at it. I'll try and find the link and I'll put it in the description so people can see it, because I know it's annoying when I talk about these things and I can't remember the name. But I just saw it on Instagram and I went to the website and I thought, oh no, I can't do it. It's too much. And then it's heavy. I'm sure they'll be heavy to carry as well. So I didn't do it. But that was that.
It's carbon fiber.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's carbon fiber. It's a sculpture thing.
Right.
But then I saw online, Daniel... Is it Arsham? I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. Daniel Arsham, who's got I follow him on Instagram because he's got an amazing house. His house on the outside, he's got this amazing Japanese designed sort of styled architectural house. It's a beautiful, beautiful house. I mean, he's got so much money. But I saw something where Zwart and other people were getting a little gift from him, and it was a little miniature of the Porsche car, like the sculpture, which I thought was really cool. It's like, man, how do you get one of those? I'm sure there's some on Instagram for sale. Oh, not on Instagram, on eBay for sale. I don't know. I like all those things. They're all cool, but you need like a big house to put them all in, and you need a lot of space to put them in. You'll have that soon, mate, so you'll be able to do all that.
I don't know about that, mate, but anyway.
You need to have your own Porsche library.
Yeah.
What else, Steve? What else is going on? I haven't watched that series yet. I didn't watch it. You started watching it, haven't you? About the GT cars.
With Fassbender?
No, the other one with Farah and Kamica and driving Pekla.
Okay. Yeah,
AP's cars where they get the chance to drive those 5 cars. I think Matt Farah's finished, right?
I think.
Yeah.
I've seen 3 of them. I don't know I think he's posted at least 4. I'm not up to speed, but the American journo's got a bit of a thing where supposedly AP, Andy Preuninger, picked 5 of his favourite GT cars. They all got to go to Pekla, the racetrack in Atlanta, Porsche's racetrack in Atlanta, and they got to kind of go and do laps in some pretty cool cars.
They're very lucky. I wonder why Spike wasn't invited.
I think, without any offence to him, when you look at the people, I think there's only 5 journalists, but I think they were all kind of full-on car journalists, where Spike is more like an enthusiast.
Oh, right. So we wouldn't get an invitation then. They would say no to us.
You were probably like the 6th person. You probably just missed out, mate.
I actually did watch one. I just remembered. I'm talking rubbish again. I did watch one. I watched the one with Matt Farah the other night. And he was in the 911R, actually. I watched the one when he was in the 911R.
Yeah.
And he said this car is a really fantastic car. He actually gave it the thumbs up. I haven't watched the others, so I don't know what he says about the other ones. But I will watch it over the next few days, over the Christmas break, that's for sure. I'm going to just do nothing. I don't want to do anything for the next few days. So.
They're good. They're really good to watch because I think it's really interesting that they're all back-to-back kind of thing. But it's no surprises that they all love the 4.0, the 997 GT3 RS 4.0 and the 911R. So, but I mean, they love all of them, really.
Okay, here's a choice for you. If you had the opportunity to get a 4.0 or a 911R, money's no object, which one would you take? Having not driven it, or just...
Do I still have the car that I've got?
Yeah, sure.
Ooh. Might go a 911R.
Doesn't matter if you make more money or lose money. It's not about that. It's just the whole driving thing and what appeals to you straight up.
Maybe because I've kind of already got a 997. I know, my pissy little GT3 is not like a 4-litre, but probably for the sake of more difference, I'd go an R. But
yeah, well, I don't have
a
GT3. I think if I had the choice, I'd take the 911R.
Yeah, I think if I didn't have the car that I've got, then I'd go a 4.0.
Right. Yeah. See, I think I'd go the R both times, only because there's something about the R that I've always really liked. And I know people say it's almost the same experience in a GT3 Touring. But I remember, what's his name? Porsche Malone, who's the Cam Ingram. He's got the Touring, and his father's got the R. And he said they're completely different.
It's funny. Well, so watch all this stuff with Jason Kamica and Johnny Lieberman
Right.
because they say something similar as well, which is they're two actually very different cars. They're not. The commentary about them being very similar is actually not true.
No, it's rubbish. It's just people thinking they can get a cheap 911R by buying the Touring, but it's not true. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Touring, but it's not.
Yeah,
that's what that guy was saying.
Happy camper for a Touring as well.
I mean, I like Johnny Lieberman. I like listening to him and watching him. I'm not a big fan of Kamica, I have to say. I don't know why. I just don't bond with him. I find it very, very difficult to watch him.
He gets very geeky. He gets very kind of super geeky and nerdy.
I watched the podcast with him and Farah the other day. I just watched it when I was just sort of like half doing things on my phone and half listening to it and half watching it at the same time. I don't know. I just don't. It doesn't click with me. It doesn't click with me. Someone said something very interesting to me yesterday, actually, when I was recording our owner stories. They said that they like. Well, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but I'm sort of adding stuff to this. But they kind of like, and other people have said this too, they kind of like our podcast because it isn't technical. And they find the technical ones, it gets like they just do too much technical stuff. They talk about too much of the technical side of Porsche and whatever, where it just becomes a bit boring. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to mention the podcast name. You probably have an idea what podcast I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And they just said it.
I quite like it, to be honest, but
you like it though. Yeah, I was going to say that. And this is where it's really weird because I know that you like that side of it. For me,
I don't understand it fully, but it's sort of just, I sort of feel like I'm kind of trying to learn by listening to some of that stuff.
Yeah, see, I'm not a big fan of it either. I prefer the stuff that's a bit more, just entertaining, like Spike. I find that just it's just entertaining. I mean, Farah gets into it, but not so much. But the other ones that are all get too technical, I don't listen to them. I really don't listen to them. And maybe I should. Maybe I should because maybe I'd learn something, but I actually don't.
Don't get me wrong. I like Spike. I really like sort of Spike and Zuckerman and Matt Farah and all that sort of stuff as well. So I kind of listen to most of it, sort of thing. But I actually do sort of enjoy some of the more technical stuff because I think I understand a lot of it because I used to consume so many kind of car magazines, but it's not like I could sort of relate to it if I kind of jumped in the car and I was trying to understand all the shit that was said.
Yeah.
I don't think I could necessarily translate that because I'm not skilled enough or nuanced enough to kind of, apply it, sort of thing.
I guess for me, I like to read about those things when I want to know something specific. I'm quite happy to sit here for a whole evening, whatever is in my head at the time, whether it be cars or tech or whatever, and I'll sit here and I might, as Tasha says, I just go crazy and I just read up on it.
Sure.
And that's how I am. I just like get all the information, I read up on it, and then I might watch some YouTube videos. But to hear someone talk about it, to me, is not, maybe it's not the way I learn. Maybe it's not the way that I like to learn. I just like to read about it and then see it and then, see if I can take a grasp of what actually is going on. That's just how...
You've got to relate to it, I suppose.
Yeah. It's Christmas Day today, Steve. Everyone's enjoying their Christmas. I'm sure there's some people listening to this on Christmas evening after they've just been stuffing themselves with food and alcohol all day. Hopefully no one's not too drunk and they can still understand what we're saying.
Talking about eggnog. Yeah.
Eggnog. What is mulled wine? I know this, I've been watching these stupid shows about Christmas on Netflix. There's all these Christmas shows and people always drink mulled wine. Is that spiced wine?
What is it?
I think it's...
And it's warmed up?
Yeah, it's warm wine that's got spices in it, I think. I don't know.
That sounds horrendous.
For me, it's not a big... It's not something I enjoy. I mean, I love wine, but I don't know about mulled wine. But anyway. Christmas books. Christmas books. Let's just talk about Christmas books. I know it's already Christmas. Everyone's got their presents, but you can buy yourself a present in the new year. I'm going to...
No, it's easy. Just like return the presents that you don't like and then go and buy the things that you want, which is some of these Christmas books.
Yeah, so I'm going to mention 3 books. I don't know if you can remember 3, Steve. I'm going to just give you 3 books that I think are the books you should go and get. And I actually have these books. The first one is the Porsche Museum publication, and it's the green cover. And I have this book in Sydney, Porsche Museum 9x911. It's not that expensive. It's about £40 here in the UK. So that's one. The other one, which I really like, is the one that has the white 911 on the cover, which is just called Porsche 911, the ultimate sports car as a cultural icon. Ulf Porsche. These links, I'll put a link in the description to this podcast. I have like a PorscheCooled sort of affiliate link thing set up, which I've never used, but just to make it easier, I'll just put the link in the podcast so people can see these books that I'm talking about. Porsche 911, the ultimate sports car, that's the one with the sort of pink color with the white car. Gestalten Publishers is a really, really nice book, which I've spoken about ages ago. So that's the second one. And then the third one is the 4-pack of books, which I don't have and I want it, and I am going to buy it. And I should have bought it a few weeks ago because it was only £270 for the set. Porsche Excellence was expected. You know that set? They revised it It's a 4-book.
Carl Division or something like that.
That one. So it's the blue book. Have you got that set?
I have, and it's probably still wrapped in plastic.
Yeah, well, that's a great one. So you got the blue book, the yellow book, the orange book, the green book. It was updated. It was updated, I think, a year ago or this year.
Yeah, I think
2019.
They
it was
updated I think they update it every couple of years because it's sort of like the book to have. I'm just having a look to see if I can.
Yeah,
see it
well, I'm looking at it on Amazon.co.uk. Like I said, the link will be in the description of this podcast. But it's £340 now for the set, and I hate to say it. When I looked at it last time, it was $270. It was on special. I should have bought it at $270. It's a big purchase. I think if you're only going to buy one, I think that's a good one to get. That green covered one though, Porsche 911 x 911, is a fantastic book. The other one, which I haven't mentioned, Steve, so this is going to be 4, is the one that you bought, and then I bought it as well, the RS one.
That's a great book. Yeah, it's really good.
So give us 3 books. Is that on your list?
I don't have 3 books. You put me on the spot. I'd probably go the Luftgekühlt one, number 2. I've got number 1.
Did you see the video on Porsche's website, on Porsche's YouTube? They actually show you how to pronounce Luftgekühlt.
Oh, how do you say it?
How do
you say it?
I don't know. I think it's Luftgekühlt.
Whatever, okay. Get that one, number 2.
Yeah, good book.
I actually also have, there's a book about Hans Metzger, which is another book that sits on my bookshelf that I haven't torn the plastic off. It's bloody thick. I wouldn't mind reading that. I believe it's actually quite interesting, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if that gets a bit geeky and historical kind of thing.
Yeah, that could be good though.
I'm still tempted about that Porsche Unseen thing. I know the only thing stopping me, apart from the fact that I'm poor and broke, is that I kind of wonder whether I've seen so many of the images and everything on social media that there's actually no point in getting the book now.
Yeah, I know. It's always a worry, isn't it, that you've seen it and you think, oh, it's not going to be exciting.
Yeah, plus I think they did Porsche released some YouTube videos with Michael Mauer, and I started watching a couple of them. So again, like, there's so much information on it, but then obviously the notion of having a really nice book is that you've kind of got something forever, and it's something you can actually hold in your hand.
I think it's a good one. I think it's a good one because of the history and the design and everything, stuff we're interested in. It's out of stock. I've been watching it on Amazon.co.uk because I've been trying to buy it there because I'm on Prime, so I get free shipping. They don't have it in stock because Alpha Spot, which I bought the Type 7 Volume 2 book from, Alpha Spot in Europe is a great. That was super fast shipping. It was great, but it does cost a little bit more. The prices seem to be slightly higher, and their shipping is high. And I could buy it there, but I've been holding off because I want to buy it, get it at the lowest price possible.
Yeah.
So that was the reasoning. Is that 3? Yeah, that's 3.
I think it was.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so go to Amazon, buy those books before.
So far on your Christmas list, you've got now you've got 3 of your own books and 3 that I've thrown in, plus some KW. 3-way suspension. Yeah. With a lift kit. What else is on your shopping Christmas list?
912.
Oh yeah, there is that.
A PorscheCooled Christmas. A PorscheCooled Christmas would be nice with a 912. I can't find any. I don't know what's wrong with me. It was kind of refreshing, and I'm going to give it a bit. I spoke to Nick in the UK, who's got a 912, and I'm also going to speak to his friend as well, who imported one from the US. I think his name's David. I'm going to do him after Christmas, and he's got a great story as well. But I don't know. It makes you want one. It makes you want one. But I still think the US is the best price to buy a 912. The ones in the UK, there's a burgundy one for sale. I'll send you the link, Steve. There's a burgundy one for sale. Ajmal reckons it's been on for sale for a while, and it's been on eBay and stuff. But it's at a dealer. It's not super expensive. It's burgundy with black interior.
Right.
69, so it's the good model. I don't know.
What about the one that came up on Collecting Cars Australia, which just launched, bizarrely?
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing that. That's a bit... I mean, I did read about that they were going to do it, but on Lovett's Instagram, I think it was.
It's weird that it's not a separate site, though, isn't it?
I guess you open your market up. I mean, it might make it more difficult for people in Australia to find rare cars if they're getting offered to the UK, and it's an easy process for people to buy.
But is that the point to it? Like, is that trying to get people in the UK to buy them, or is that for like Aussie cars for Australian buyers to just bid on their platform? Is that
Both,
what's
I
going
think.
on?
Both.
Right, okay.
I mean, a lot of
I
people
guess
in the
because
UK.
they're right-hand drive cars.
Yeah, a lot of people in the UK, I think, do buy cars from Australia.
Oh, I see.
I think because of the dollar as well, because of the exchange rate. I think
Right.
because of, the pound's stronger than still quite strong against the Australian dollar, reasonably strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I saw that. So collecting cars, collecting cars auction site.
There was a Speed Yellow 912 that was posted on that. I have no idea about 912s. I've got no
It wasn't a
sense of
912,
what's
was
good
it?
or bad.
It was a 911E. That's why I was wondering when you sent it. It wasn't a It's a 911E.
Yeah, no, it's a 911E. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, it's nice, but I think it'll go for a lot. It's a 1970 Porsche 911E on Collecting Cars. If you go to collectingcars.com, you'll see it.
Right.
It's got 12 days to run. I'm just looking at it now, Steve. It's got 12 days to run, 43 people watching it. It's only had 2 bids against it. But, these things, everyone bids at the end. It's 30 grand. And
Just get Santa to put his bid on it for you, mate.
Yeah,
that's just on your list.
It's an original,
KW.
Yeah, original Australian delivered. It's got the Pepita seat inserts that Steve loves. Still got the original carburetors. It's quite a nice one, and it's located in Terry Hills, so it's quite close to central Sydney, a place we know, Terry Hills.
Yep.
You pay a 6% buyer's premium on collecting cars, though, on top of what you pay for the car.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how it works, but probably still cheaper than.
I am actually watching it, Steve, though. I am actually watching it because I have actually got a login for collecting cars, so I have actually put it on my watch list just to see how the price goes. I don't know if I love the color. Do you love the color?
Speed yellow, cool. Yeah, I like the color.
Yeah, I wonder how much it will
I
go
like
for.
yellow cars.
I've kind of I didn't really look at it seriously because I thought, but then the E is quite a good one. But they always say, well, I think Spike says and someone else says that the 911E, the best year is isn't it 73 or is that the 911S?
I have no idea.
I mean, it's quite a nice car because it's got a bit of patina, like the black is like got a few chips in it. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect example, and it's got the different steering wheel, the Momo type Momo steering wheel.
Yep.
And it looks pretty original. I mean, it is a nice looking car. It really is a nice looking car. I think it'll go for over 100 though, for sure. Australian delivered 911E. It'll go for over 100.
Just bid on it, mate. What else is on your shopping list?
I don't know.
How come Christmas has become so materialistic and all of a sudden it's about a shopping list of stuff that you want?
I don't know. It's kind of weird this year, though. I mean, everyone's just had their Christmas when they're listening to this, but it's kind of weird. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. COVID's just messed everyone up. It's just messed everything up.
I think COVID's turned everyone into like just one massive online shopping community as well.
True. Look at Amazon. Look at how much the profits of his worth has increased. Do you want to talk about the... I think we're going to run out of time again for the 4 questions. We had this thing with Steve and I was always going to do this thing about 4 questions. I think we'll save it to next week's episode, Steve.
Yeah, and just make it 5 questions.
Don't you think? Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Fine,
mate.
We're
already at we're almost at an hour, so I don't know. I think we'll talk about that thing. But I have got a question. Christmas is coming. Christmas is here.
Yes.
You look under the tree. You've got socks. Stupid things that you're never going to use. As nice as they are, and the love that comes with them, of course, it's very important. But you're probably never going to use. You're probably never going to use half the things you got today.
Who bought me these socks?
So, if you weren't getting a Porsche for Christmas, all right, you asked for a Porsche. Steve asked for a new. Steve asked for a 991.2 GT3 manual. Cindy, his wife, didn't get him one. Well, I don't think so. I doubt it. Natasha knows I want a 912. She also knows I want something else, and that's what I'm going to get into in a second. But I don't think I'm going to get that either. I do have permission. I do have permission to buy either one, so that's like a present in itself. But I do have permission. Things could change with that though, because our whole work thing is up in turmoil now. So without getting into that, but if you weren't going to get a Porsche for Christmas, if you didn't get the Porsche under the tree, a car under the tree, and it's not a Porsche, what would you want?
Do I just go super simple?
Whatever you want.
I'll go super simple.
You can have 2 if you want. 2. There you go. If it wasn't a Porsche and you wanted a car for Christmas and it's not under the tree, which one would it be?
NA MX5.
Okay.
Go back to my first car.
Yep.
I don't know why. I've just kind of got this weird thing at the moment where I've just been looking at them.
Why don't you just buy one? They're so cheap.
They're actually not that cheap though. How much do you reckon one is?
15.
More.
Really?
For a good... Yeah. They've just become this weird thing. I suppose like MX5s have always had a reputation for sort of being like a, pure driver's car, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But that first generation thing...
So what year is that?
I guess...
What year is it?
89 or 90, I think, is it?
So an 89 or 90 MX5, which is Miata in the US.
I had a 90 and just lots of fond memories of that car, so...
So that's the one.
Yeah, I think so.
Number 2?
See, it's not like me. I'm not being greedy. I'm not kind of asking for a Ferrari or, anything like that. No 328 GTS, because I'm a simple man.
Okay, I've already got the Porsche. If I was getting something else, I haven't got it under my tree. I have to say the car I would get is an 80s. I would buy the 80s Ferrari, and this is the fault of Paul from New Zealand, who has one, and I spoke to him, and
Paul.
He's actually, and I mentioned this before, Paul actually got it in my head even more. It was always there in the background. Yeah. And actually not, I know people are going to think it's because of Matt Farah. It actually wasn't because of Matt Farah. It was in my head. And then I spoke to Paul about it, and of course Matt Farah's got one as well, but I wouldn't get black. But I would get an 80s Ferrari. I'll get the non-ABS 328 GTS, which is up to 88.5 model, 88.5 year model. So before the ABS with the different wheels. Second choice, if I was going new, and I wouldn't buy this now, but I think in years to come, if you're a Porsche fan, I think you would enjoy this car. And maybe you have to have a GT3 RS or a GT3 as well. But I think when they start to really depreciate, and they did dip a lot, is the AMG GTR. I still think, especially if it's the AMG GTR and it has the Mercedes-Benz racing seats. But like I said, I wouldn't buy one of those now because I think they're going to fall even more. They've fallen quite a lot. When they came up for resale, they were quite low in Australia. They were
even
all bought.
Just a straight up GT. What are they worth in Australia now?
You can get the first early ones for about 159,000. I think the cheapest one is, which is very cheap.
Right. Okay.
That's pretty cheap.
What were they brand new?
300 odd.
They're lovely looking cars.
Mid 300s.
They sound great.
Seriously, they've depreciated so much, those cars. So that's what I mean. You wait a few more years, you get the bigger Pan America grille, the bigger grille, the updated version one. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about not the new one with the push buttons, the old AMG GT with the silver and the tactile analog type dials down the center. Yep. But they're my two. And people are probably saying, why the Ferrari? The Ferrari, because the Ferrari 328, and I think it was after speaking to Paul as well, because it is so analog, it is Porsche-like in a way because it doesn't have any computer aids. It's very, it doesn't have power steering. I guess the 328 GTS, it's like, if you're in the market for one, I guess you'd be looking at the SC at the same time. And I said this in the podcast. To me, you're looking for an SC, or you're looking for a 328 GTS, or you're looking at, like what Paul has, which he's got almost a perfect 3-car collection. You're looking at the G50 Carrera. Yep. 88, 89 Carrera.
Well,
I think that's what you shop against.
Your 328 versus your 912. Are they the same money?
They're close to it. Yeah. Well, if you get 328, you can get them in the UK. I have said this before, 59,000, but they go up to over £100,000 depending on the model, depending on the condition and who's the dealer is and how much they're trying to rip you off. And, a well-restored 912 is 59,000, 79,000 in the UK.
There's a guy on YouTube in the UK. I can't remember the name of the channel. Is it something like Driver 27 or something like that?
Oh, yes,
He's got a 308.
308. Has he got a 308, has he? I've watched that
channel. I've watched a couple of episodes of that. Like, he's going through a few trials and tribulations with his car.
The 308 is a tricky one because of the carburetors. Apparently, it's a bit...
Yeah.
The 308 Quattro Valve or whatever it's called, I don't even know what it's... QV one, the 308 Quattro Valvoli or whatever it's called, that one is the one to get. And
Quattro Volva, did you say?
Quattro something, I don't know what it's called. But there's...
Come on, mate.
But no, there's one for sale somewhere. I saw it. I think it's on Bring a Trailer. It's a really beautiful example. Have a look on Bring a Trailer, actually, Steve. 308. It's a current auction. But apparently they're really tricky to look after. I know this is a Porsche podcast, not Ferrari, but go to Jay Leno's channel. The Ferrari specialist that Matt Farah's been ranting on about, who fixes his Ferrari, who's the same guy that fixes most people's Ferraris in LA.
Yeah.
Go to Jay Leno. He's got a white 308, which he actually saw when he was a kid, when he was working at a Ferrari dealer, and he eventually found the same car and purchased it. And he's worked on the car.
Right.
And even he says how temperamental they are, but it's okay once everything's fixed. But he can fix it. He's he's the Ferrari guy. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if you want to buy a 308.
Even when my uncle bought his F430, and he went to the independent mechanic in Artarm, and the guy sort of said, "Yeah, you're going to be coming and visiting me a lot and spending a fair bit of money on this thing." So he was pretty honest with him.
So based on that, I just want to tell you that you said to me during the week, you said 328s, are they expensive to maintain? Now, I read something on a Ferrari forum that someone had a 911 G50, a G series, I think, and asked about the cost of servicing, and he said it's about the same as the 80s Porsche. He said it cost him about the same for a 328. Now, the 328 Ferrari is the lowest cost for servicing, apparently. But I found a thing on the UK, and the main thing that has to be done on a Ferrari is the cam belt. I don't know what's the thing in the Carrera, 80s Carreras that has to be done, but the cam belt's the main thing in the Ferrari. And that service is only £850. Now, for some reason, I thought that would be more, and this is from a place I found in the UK, and I think it's about the same at most places. And an annual service is £550. Now, an annual service is £550. What's that, $1,000 Australian? And to change the cam belt is, $1,500 Australian? But then when you go up to the 355, which people say is more expensive, the cam belt change on the 355 is £1,600. So it's double.
Yep.
But the service is about the same, but it's the cam belt that gets you. And I guess the clutch, clutch being an expensive cost for most cars, Porsches as well, it's a bit of a thing, even in your car when you had it changed recently, didn't you?
Yeah, but it's not Ferrari money. Again, my uncle was talking about that with the F430. I can't remember the number that he kind of threw at me, but, the clutch doesn't last particularly long, and he had a slight incline in his driveway, which is part of the reason why he got rid of the thing.
This is modern Ferraris, so they're quite expensive, right?
F430, yeah, but, we were talking, I think it was, a bit over 2 to do the clutch in the GT3 in my car, but in a F430 of was it a similar vintage? It actually is.
10 times as much, is it?
Not 10 times. It wasn't 20 grand, but I think it was still sort of 8 or 9.
Oh, really? That's a lot, isn't it?
I think that's what he said.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think with any car, Porsche, whatever else you're sort of into, you have to get ones that are reliable, It's getting the reliable model, the reliable generation. Not always easy to find because everyone's trying to find that same generation, that same model. So you're up to some stiff competition, I guess, but... Anyway.
It's just hard. It's it reminds me of my 993 days where I loved the car to bits. At that point in time, I think it was probably worth, about 80 grand. But then when you're kind of winding up in this situation where every second visit, because you want something to be just so, you're kind of up for 3-4 grand every second kind of visit, but your car's worth 90 and all of that sort of stuff. It starts... You start kind of thinking about it. So,
I just want to mention briefly, actually, I spoke to a guy called Amir in Los Angeles, and Amir has 2 911s. He's coming up on Owner Stories. It's an interesting one when it comes up. Look out for it. I can't remember the number of it off the top of my head, but his name's Amir. And he does his own maintenance.
Yep.
And he said the 993 is more complicated because there's double of everything. It's more complicated. It's harder to get into. It's harder to access.
Yep.
So he did actually make the point that it was a real learning curve from doing his 997 to doing the 993.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So it's an interesting one, actually. He's really passionate as well, and it's a good one because he does his own maintenance on both of his cars. He's got 2 911s. So that one's... Right. I'll send it to you, Steve, when I edit. I haven't edited it yet.
Yeah, cool.
All right. That's it. That's the Christmas show. Porsche Christmas. Steve's happy. Steve's happy.
Okay.
What else, mate? Anything else before we go? You want to say anything to the listeners?
No, just Merry Christmas. Hope everyone's safe, gets to see their families and have a nice meal. Hopefully next year is slightly less tumultuous and a bit more positive for everyone.
Yeah, and I like to wish everyone the same. So I hope everyone has a great Christmas. I know this is the end of the day if you're listening to it. You might be listening to this on Boxing Day even, but I hope you're having a great Christmas or a great holiday, a bit of a break with your family. If you can be with your family, it's even best. If you can't be with your family, there's always Zoom. Isn't there, Steve? There's always Zoom.
There is.
So
there
now
is Zoom.
we're always connected, and that's the main thing. All right. That's it.
Cool.
See you,
Take
mate.
it easy, mate.
Yep. You too. Have a great day on Friday. Enjoy your
Love
family
to Tasha
gatherings.
as well.
Thanks, mate. And to Cindy. And to your parents.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We're going to end it there. PorscheCooled Christmas show. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.